Hey YouTube, how you going? Welcome to another video. We have recently updated a fair bit of the functionality to do with getting how notes are saved and created in our backend, and because of that we need to update the front end code now to accommodate that. So for example, these notes aren't currently rendering any of the tags, etc. So what I want to do is I'm going to try and get away with using ChatGPT, just because we burn through our messages at a rapid rate of knots when we use Claude. So what we have is we've got what I might do is close down some of this stuff, but anyway, what we've got is we've got this note card component, and we have which sits within our note grid, and in note grid we call use notes, which calls the fetch notes function, which basically just calls our endpoint to get all notes. So that's completely fine, but obviously the format of the data is now different. So in this note card, when we bring in the note and we have like note.source.publication, some of that has now changed. So what I'm going to do is just copy and paste this into ChatGPT, and we'll use 04, and we will say I have a React project. I have recently changed the data structure for an API endpoint that returns all notes. As a result, some fields on this component no longer populate. Can you please update to accommodate no, that's not what I want to do. Accommodate how the data is now returned via our API. Before you write any code, please let me know if you have any questions. If it matters, we are using TanStack Query, and I can provide the other files if needed. All right. color for background, source type is returned as yes, for source type just display to for optional fields, yes, add if checks and only display if they are available. Don't worry about folder linked notes or sequential links for now. The data format, the JSON hopefully that helps. actually, I don't know, it is still using, didn't tell it what we were using from a CSS perspective. Hopefully it's smart enough to pick up what we're doing. Included our imports. All right, so save. Just done that. Let's go back to our front end. Actually, I think what might also be happening is the create note process is busted too. So what we will quickly do is we will just log in as this user. So this, I think I logged in as user 212, send. I'm gonna get this token, copy. Where are we? Create new note. Paste that. Send. Company not found. Yeah, okay. We need to go through the whole process again, actually. Log in. What we will do. Let's delete. Refresh. We'll go back to login. Undo that. So it was 17. And then we'll go. Let's try and log in as this user. So. Okay. That's interesting because when we tag. Actually, yeah, so what we had happen before was if we come out of our front end default source types, source types is where we provided a color, not on tags yet. Whereas on the tag model, we just have name. Okay, so we don't have a color yet on tags. That's all right, we can ignore that for now. But what is happening is if we go create second note, second body, and we call this test, next, create. Obviously it's not auto refreshing, but it's not saving the data correctly either. So what we need to do now is go to create a new note and body, and we need to update. We need to update our other functionality. So in our front end, if we go to source, if we go to features, notes, create note modal. So create note modal calls our use create. Create note just gets the data directly. Okay, so what we need to do is copy and paste this and tell copy. So great. Thank you for doing this. We have another component where we create a new note. Hello. The back end has been updated to accept the data in a different format. Can you please update the component to accommodate this? We are not changing any of the styling. Equally, you don't need to accommodate the following fields: status, explanation, context. Alright, what other fields do we need? or publication date. Oh no, that we do. Yeah, cool. Please let me know. Hasn't. It's missed some stuff. Doesn't have all of the same imports. I notice your component doesn't have all. Okay, I don't know if it dialog calendar icon. I think you just forgot the imports, but I think you got the component right. Yeah, we'll just let it rewrite it. A bit annoying. Come on. Not exactly fast. ChatGPT has been down today, so I don't know if they maybe aren't running at full capacity or something. Okay, copy that. Replace what we had previously, and then save that. And then if we come back to our front end, we'll just hit refresh. Go create note. So we'll call this third note body, test folder, test tag. Next, let's just create that. It's still not rendering. So on the back end, created the folder. It's not creating the tags. The tags don't appear to be created. Yeah, that's how we're expecting it. Okay, let's update the handle add tag. Const. And then yeah, let's log the payload. So on handle submit, handle submit. Let's just do that, and then at least we'll be able to see what's going on. So new note, fourth. So let's just do one tag at the moment. tags is showing, yeah, okay. The payload is showing an empty array. So key down. Actually, so fifth note. You got to hit enter. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. Okay, I know what's happening. Cool. Copy. Save that. Right. Let's go back here to front end. Sixth. Okay, cool. If you edit, that's pretty cool. That works. All right. Now let's go source title test YouTube my channel. Cool. All right, that still needs a little bit of tweaking, but generally speaking, that's working. What I want to support now though is great, that works. What I want to support now is if a user cool. Okay, so what we've got at the moment get all tags, routes, controller. Maybe we should update. We'd have to probably have to use Claude to do this. So for now, we probably won't attach the query param. Might do that in the future. I'm just trying to think. Unless we give our service get tags, get company tags, tag find, sort name. Yeah, we only have these two files really, the three files that are going to matter. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, let's go through this logically. Great. Here is our current router file to get all tags. We then call our controller below, which calls the following service. We also have the following validation chains. Can you first update all this code to accept a query parameter? To return filtered tags directly from my backend. Then if we look at notes, there's the model tag. We do index it already, so we're doing that. So then after we've got that, then please create the separate tag autocomplete component to handle fetching, filtering, etc. Remember, we are using TanStack Query, so if you need to also create a separate components, features, separate use tags.js file similar to what we use for notes, please do so. So this would then be added to our endpoints.js file. Okay, then proceed with updating the note modal code you wrote above to leverage the tag auto component with debouncing mechanism. This will allow filter and fallback tags found, and the user can still type a new tag and create a new tag this way. For UI, remember we are using tail wind CSS, and in particular with please let me know if questions before proceeding. All right, so I know we having to type quite a bit more, I think, than when we work with Claude, because we've got to give it a little bit more context to the whole situation. But here we go. We've got our controller. So I might leave it on the chat interface for a second. So if we go to our tag controller, we are just adding this search param off the request.query, so that's pretty straightforward. And then also here passing in the search query to get company tags, so again, straightforward. And there's nothing that gets changed on the response there. So then in the get company tags service, we have to bring in obviously search as one of the parameters. We keep user, we keep validate company. Query gets updated to include search. Const query, actually this is completely new, so we bring this whole function in. And then we've got total tags, we count the document, and we just pass in the query from above, which includes our company ID, so query. And then in tags equals tag.find, again use query. And then we've got our sort, our skip, our limit, our select, that's fine. And then we return tags with pagination, and there's no difference to that. So in the validation chains, what we're adding is just the query for search. It's optional, so that's fine. Add that. Why is that not happy? Get rid of that. Right. And then in the front end, so features, we are going to go to tags, which so I'm going to bring this over here because it's kind of new. So make a folder called tags. In here, we will create a component called usetags.js, and we will copy this. So again, we're using use query from TanStack React Query, fetch tags, data, we await, API endpoint, tags, get all. We have our query key, and we're also passing in the search parameters, and that makes sense. So then in endpoints, where is it? API, endpoints, we just need to update this to include tags. And then we need to create a reusable tag autocomplete component. So we're also going to do that here in our tags folder. So this is called tag autocomplete with a capital C .js. Paste that. So what is this doing? So CN is declared but never used. On tag select existing tags. I think it's just because we're not using prop type validation, but that's fine. Tag.sum, that's fine. So input, gets the input value, set input value, here handle select tag, there's handle select tag, okay. And then in the create note modal, create note modal, we need to import obviously our autocomplete. So we go out one and then label tags inside. So we need to find tags. So here, so this whole div. So copy that, and we're going to go from here down to here. No, hang on. Div, that is. Yeah. All right. So what doesn't it like? Something that we've created with just JS. tag autocomplete. Okay, this should be just X, and then hang on, rename. Tags, tag autocomplete. So in create note modal, where are we importing this? Yeah, so tag autocomplete is meant to be JSX. So JSX. Use tags though is JS, that's right. I don't know why it now doesn't like. What's wrong with the import? So this CN function utils. Where are we? It's not even used though. I don't understand why it brought CN in if it's not even used. So see if just getting rid of it matters. Use tags does not provide. What do you mean use tags does not provide an export named use tags? So let's just compare. Use notes, use tags. I don't know why. Where's use notes used? So notes grid, use notes, whereas here, yeah, just change this import. Save that. Okay, works. So, new note, 7th note, test 7, folder. Alright, so we have Node.js here, so let's type Node JavaScript. That's pretty cool. Node, test. What about we create one ourselves? Oop. React. Okay. Great. The search functionality works well, but I also wanted to be able to create my own tags in the same input with none, i.e. cancel that for a sec. I'm gonna copy all the way up to here because the import's wrong. Auto tag. It's on this side. I accidentally copied it again. Save. Alright, so with that, hopefully come back here, just hit refresh. 7th note, test 7 folder leap. Let's just put folder 3 and node React. Oh, interesting. Oh, hang on. Java. Okay, it does search for. What else? Now, if there's nothing, what if I start something completely new, like random? Okay, cool. I can hit enter too. All right, next. Create. Awesome. There we go. That's fantastic. Okay. We now need to think about great, that works. Great, that works. I now want to add similar functionality when selecting folder. The key difference, however, is that there are both parent folders and subfolders, child folders. So come out of that. Then and also when a user goes to search for a folder, a note can only be added to one folder as opposed to being tagged with multiple tags. The user should still be able to start typing to see if there is an existing folder that matches what they are searching for, or alternatively be able to create a brand new folder or sub. How are you gonna let's just say for now you can't create a subfolder. For now, we won't allow users to create subfolders from this search/import. Okay, cool. So if we look at our backend, where are we? Components. Get all folders. Controller. Yeah. Okay. So we in our backend we have the following route. Which calls the following service controller, sorry. Which calls the following service. And uses the following utils. As a result, please update this to accommodate a search param like we did with tags. Also, please create a validation chains. This file should be titled get all folders chains.js. All right, and then as before, I'll say as before, you then need to update the front end code for creating a new node to accommodate this, as well as create the use all folders. Actually, what do you call it? Use tags, as well as the use folders file, leveraging use query from TanStack, and update the endpoints file and create the separate folder autocomplete file. All right, cool. So I'm actually, while it's doing this, I'm pleasantly surprised with how well it's creating code. I know it's a weird thing to say about ChatGPT because people use it all the time for creating code, but I've gotten so used to using Claude. And look, I think Claude's still a lot quicker because you can give it all the project knowledge and you can just refer, you know, instead of saying, hey, like I've got this file and cut and paste this, I could just say, hey, I've got a file called X and it would know about it. But, you know, besides that, I mean, we're not going to hit limitations anywhere near as quickly as my understanding, and yeah, it's working quite well. So we'll pull this over here. We'll bring up our backend code, and we will get to work. So in components, we're going to go get all folders routes. There is no change here, except we are going to import our validation chains that we've got to create. So we will bring this in, and then we will call this here, and then we also need to bring in validate request, which interestingly enough, if I provided it with a folder where it knows where validate request is saved before, I must have. All right, then we also need to obviously create get all folders validation chains. Save that. Then in our controller, so what we're doing here is we're getting the search off of the request, and then we just pass that in alongside user ID to get all folders, which sits in our service. And then in our service, user, try and find validate company. Then we're just adding this functionality, and is saying to get rid of it being empty, so hopefully that's okay. And on the front end, so SRC components, sorry, features, not components, folders, we're going to create use folders, copy this code, paste that in. Yep, looks good. And then endpoints.js, simple update. That sits here in our API. Put that there. And then we need to create an autocomplete component. It hasn't told us where to put this, but presumably it means in the same place. So folder auto complete with a small c .jsx. Paste that. And then in our create modal, notes, create note. And get rid of all this actually that we commented out before. Let's do that now. This was from the other day where, bring this in. And then inside the create note modal, there should be a label folder. Much more simple. Update there. Cool. And then where has my, nope, not that one, nope, not that one, not that one. Here it is. Just put that back in there. Right, bring this over here. Oh. And close this. Actually, is the folder? I can't remember if is the folder being saved as the is it being saved as the ID or the name? I think we had to fix that, didn't we? So we'll call this folder, let's just call it December. Okay, that's weird, doesn't then show that that folder is created. Next, create note. Okay, no. Let's come over here. Get all notes. Copy. What user are we logged in as? Oh no, this was so folder is being saved as null. Folder null. And why is try that again. So let's log in. Copy test 217 at test. Right. So I'm not exactly sure if this is a problem on the front end or the back end. Obviously folder's null from our API. So ninth note test. Let's call this December. Let's call this Jan. See. Next, create note. Refresh. Folder is null. Okay. So what we might do is use folders. Don't think that functionality is used anymore. Did I forget to import this? No. Autocomplete. Okay, so The folder. If we see the folder ID, that's fine, because I think that's then just a back-end issue. But it's saying it's null. The folder doesn't appear to be saved when I call when I refresh page and fetch. I already have. Why is search is not defined? This could be our issue. So search dot. Forgot to bring in search. That could be my mistake. All right, let's try again. It's still connecting. Whoa. Oh, it is bringing up old folders. Folder, December. But in note card, do we not? No, we don't show folder. That's fine. So then, what do we? What was the folder we just created? Over here. Data. Oh, no. Okay, yeah, it's not being saved on the back end. So 11th. Yeah. So copy. Pull this over here. Let's just check this. So on our back end, add new note. It doesn't have context of our functionality. Folder ID. Okay, so what I'm probably going to do, I want to leverage Claude for this. So we have a front end React component, which is a form that passes in the data to create a new node. I can see from the front end payload that folder is being passed in correctly. However, in our backend, where we have the following files, it doesn't appear to save the folder correctly because send, oh god. Copy. Right, so what I'm doing is I'm just going to call this API endpoint to show how it's saved or how it's returned. Because when cool, so this should be a pretty easy fix. In add new note service, const folder ID, just update that, and then in validation chains, and this is what I really like about Claude. You know, it also thinks about these kind of bigger picture issues. You know, you ask it to fix the bug, and it does. Probably didn't actually need to fix the validation chain, I don't believe. But, you know, it thinks about that and does it anyway. So now we need to come over to our front end again. We're going to get logged out, which is annoying. So we'll go back to login. And, okay, that's fine. Right, so what we need to do now is go to 12. We'll call this folder 12. Next, create note. Right, payload folder 12. Refresh. No. Oh no, hang on. Test again. Folder 12. This title. It's weird. Folder ID equals note.data.folder. We create one. So we receive it correctly. But yeah. Okay. Utils. Hang on, what have we done wrong here? Hang on. No, it's largely the same. I'll just copy the whole thing. I was trying to keep my console logs in there, but anyway. We will try again. Just wait for that to connect. See, refresh. We need to fix that auto refresh, but that's fine. 13th note, test 13th time, folder, what are we calling this? Folder 13, create folder 13, next, create note, payload, folder is there, refresh. Okay, there we go. We're getting the folder ID. That's fine for now. Fix that later. Great. What I do want to do though is say, great, I fixed the back end. It was another issue, but it works now. We do need to make an adjustment on the front end. When a user is typing in a folder name, if they select an existing folder or create a new folder from the input field, we should then display that folder name above the input field once selected or created, along with an X using the exact same styling as our tags, so that a user can A, see that they have in fact selected folder, and B, clear that folder if they change. Actually, instead of above, we should display it. Oh, let's just do it above. We're not really focused on UI at the moment. With tags, I think it makes sense to like have it up there, but I was thinking with folder, maybe display it there. Yeah. Need to come up with some more creative names and add a new note. Right, so copy folder autocomplete. use folders is not defined. So funny, like forgets things. Import. Right, 14th. And we'll call this X is not defined. X is not defined. X, I mean there's so many X's. X is not defined. And that is happening in X. Okay. Copy. Okay. That's weird. Okay. Probably need a message that says, you know, you can only add one folder, but hey, let's make sure that that payload goes through. So yeah, and then when we refresh, folder, it has an ID. Fantastic. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to wrap there for now, and I'll come back a little bit later on. We've added a fair bit more functionality. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, we need to figure out what we're doing with this publication source type. We also need it as a drop-down list. So we'll add that probably next. Yeah, cool. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next one.